We obviously just started, but I think we've got a good day planned. Obviously, it's Ferris's day. They can use my time, whatever they see fit. But we've got the meet and greet. We're doing a tour of the campus. Also meeting with some classes before we have the kind of the lecture and the question and answer period tonight. So I'm looking forward to it. It's good to be here.
Okay. And since you've been to Ferris before and you know a little bit about it, what would you say are some of the strengths of the university and Big Rapids as a whole and contributing to Michigan?
Well, I think you take a look at this university, and it's part of what I think is a really good higher educational system in the state of Michigan. That it's a great package. It is a great package of choices for our kids, so that our kids in Michigan can get. They can identify the field of study that they want to go into, and that they've got choices so they don't have to leave Michigan. And that's really what we're trying to do, create a Michigan where there are opportunities and where there are choices, where our kids want to live.
I wanted to talk about your U.S. Senate campaign a little bit. It's called the Road to Reform, correct?
Yep.
What are some of the main issues that you want to focus on reforming?
Well, I think there are a few things. It's clear that people want the budget reform. They're very, very nervous about trillion-dollar deficits as far as the eye can see. We've got to do budget reform. The president, in what he's been talking about the last couple of days, has started opening the book, I think in a small way, but I think it's going to need a larger discussion. We need tax reform. The current tax code just has way too many loopholes that everybody believes only the neighbor qualifies for, and that they don't. So we need equity and fairness built into the tax code. And then clearly the top priority is what can we do to reform the regulatory environment, the budget environment, the tax environment, so that we can get Michigan and we can get the country growing again and start creating jobs.
And you talked about cutting federal spending. Do you have any idea, specifically what areas you want to cut that?
Well, you have to clearly take, and I think we can do some of this through reform, which means there may be less dollars spent, but they may actually have more of an impact. I'll give you an example. K through 12 education. Local school districts are totally frustrated with No Child Left Behind. My guess is if you went to a local school district and said, you're going to get less money for K through 12 education, they'd go, whoa, you can't do that. But then you said, the rules and regulations that go along with No Child Left Behind, they're going to be gone. My guess is superintendents would take that deal, teachers would take that deal, because what they're saying is that would free up money to put into the classroom that would really help our kids. The rules, the regulations, the paperwork, and the bureaucracy that come along with No Child Left Behind are a barrier to our kids learning, not helping our kids learn. Then you've got to go to entitlements. We've got to take a look at how do we reform Social Security, how do we reform Medicare, Medicaid, so that we can get more bang for the dollar for every dollar that we're spending, and at the same time, help them be part of the problem or part of the solution as we solve the deficit problem.
Do you foresee any changes to higher education and how it's funded or regulated on the federal?
I think everything ends up being on the table. I mean, I look forward to talking to the people at Ferris and the higher education system in general. And my guess is they could come up with lots of recommendations in terms of saying, if you did that, it would have a huge impact on us, and it would better enable us to give a quality education to the students that are in our schools. It just makes the system better.
Anything else you'd like to add about your visit here?
No, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the dialogue and the discussion, and really the kinds of questions that people on campus here want to ask me.